Trump wants to jail election workers. Madam Vice President, do you have a reaction?
Madam Vice President, how will you handle it on the debate stage if Trump decides to launch a personal attack?
Are you ready, Madam Vice President?
Ready.
Kamala Harris is already panicking days before the debate because we all know she really doesn't want to be in this position. Come on now. We know this. And to make matters worse, the second most respected poll came out today in favor of Trump. So we'll take a look at that as well, and how her campaign has been crying over the debate rules. Watch.
Welcome back. Joining me now is Ian Sams, senior national spokesman for the Harris-Walz campaign and a former White House staffer. Ian, thanks so much for being with me this afternoon. I really appreciate it.
Thanks.
We are going to talk policy, of course, but I have to start with Tuesday's all-important debate. We have learned now that the rules are set. The microphones will be turned off when the other person is speaking. We know that that's not what you guys were pushing for. So tell me what your reaction is to this.
Yeah, it's a little disappointing. I think the vice president really felt strongly about having the microphones unmuted so that the American people could see a real debate with real exchanges between the two candidates back and forth. I think you think about the sort of viral moments of her that people remember from her time in the Senate, where Trump appointees were before the Judiciary Committee, the way she's incisive in her questioning, asking them to draw out the truth and the facts about what they are talking about. Having that taken away from her in this debate is a challenge. And I think, we wish that the Trump campaign had understood that these are two different candidates than there were a few months ago, and that it was very clear that the Trump campaign wanted to keep a muzzle on their candidate so that they could try to instill some discipline. I think they were worried about what might happen in those exchanges with the vice president, and we're trying to sort of keep him under control. And I think, to their point, it's probably good for them. It's probably helpful. It's going to help Donald Trump stay under control and calmer and more disciplined and restrained. In June, for example, in the debate, he lied over and over again, but maybe he seemed a little bit more normal because he couldn't be interrupting and interjecting all the time. And so, this is a guy who's a showman. I think he knows how to perform in debates like this. I think he knows how to get ready for the big lights on TV. And he's a very experienced debater at this point. This is his seventh general election presidential debate, which is probably the most of anybody in history. And, I think that we're looking to see that they're probably ready to have him seem a little bit more restrained and normal for the country.
All right. You guys remember Ian Sams. He's an ultimate clown and puppet for her campaign. We know this. How could you be crying about this debate when you were offered three, but you only accepted one debate? Remember, you were offered Fox News, right? You were offered NBC, but you guys declined those. So I don't want to hear you bitch about these rules when you could have went with no mics muted on Fox News. Oh, yeah, that's right. They're not going to play the propaganda game for you guys. Got it. So these rules are very clear, 90 minutes. So that is a good duration. No opening statements. I like that. Just get right into it. 2 minutes for closing statements. Now, they did report that Trump will have the last word, so that's great. No props or notes. That's good as well. And there will be no audience. You don't see anybody from the Trump campaign going on the news and complaining, even though these rules don't necessarily favor Trump either. Because think about it. He also benefits from mics being unmuted because he can get clips that are viral, right? So, both of these candidates, in a sense, are muzzled, which leads me to my first point about them crying about this debate. Understand something. When Kamala Harris is the person asking the questions like she was when she was a senator, she's great. She sounds just like everybody else in Congress. But when she's on the other end where she's being pressured to answer questions, that's when things melt down for her. And that's why they don't like these debate rules. So let's just call it what it is. She doesn't want to be here. This isn't who she is. And she'd rather be doing other things.
I hear you trying to lower expectations. Is there a reason you're doing that?
Whoa.
It's interesting, this lowering expectations question. I mean, Donald Trump is in Sean Hannity's town hall in Pennsylvania attacking ABC, claiming conspiracy theories about we're going to get the questions ahead of time. And, people aren't really talking about that as Donald Trump lowering expectations.
Well, to be fair, we are talking about that too. But since I'm interviewing you, I just want to put the question to you. Why are you lowering expectations?
I'm just telling the truth. I think it's a little bit dispiriting that the mute button is going to be on for the debate and prevent the candidates from being able to go back and forth. But look, regardless of that, the vice president is going to come to the debate ready to talk about the choice in the election, the choice between his economic vision and her economic vision. Trickle down and big corporations and big billionaires getting tax cuts, help for small business and working people. She's going to paint the choice of the vision. She's going to talk about how we can turn the page on Donald Trump and move into the future with a new way forward for the country. Those are things she's going to be ready to talk about. She's excited to be able to do that. I think that it's just a matter of, as we talk about the rules, talking about some of the unfortunate decisions, I think, that were made to continue pushing for the muted microphones by the Trump campaign.
Man, he just won't let up on the muted mics, right? I mean, he kind of shows you they are panicking because that does not work in her favor, clearly. We know why. She wants to have a viral moment where she looks like she is the better person, the bigger person. And that is what she did with Mike Pence. Now, in my opinion, Mike Pence is a shitty debater. This guy, I don't think you will ever see Mike Pence yell ever in his life. I mean, this guy is calm as a mouse.
Joe Biden has been very clear. He will not raise taxes on anybody who makes less than $400,000 a year.
He said he's going to repeal the Trump tax cuts.
Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking.
Well, wait.
I'm speaking.
It'd be important if you said the truth. Joe Biden said twice in the debate last week that he's going to repeal the Trump tax cuts. That was tax cuts that gave the average working family $2,000 in a tax break every single year. Senator,
that is absolutely not true.
Is he only going to repeal part of the Trump tax cuts?
If you don't mind letting me finish, we can then have a conversation. Okay?
Please.
Okay.
I think her clip with him was more about him and less about her, but that's just obviously speaking about the past. Now, in the present moment here, she obviously wants to recreate that, but this is not Mike Pence. This is Donald J. Trump, okay? So he's the king of viral moments, and I don't think she wants to smoke.
It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Yeah, because you'd be in jail.
Secretary Clinton.
Now, that's just my personal opinion. I think her campaign is looking at this incorrectly. They should be complaining about notes and no teleprompter. I think those are things that would give her an advantage over Trump, clearly, because that's when she seems to be her best, when she can look at what she's going to say and she doesn't have to say anything off script. Now, before we get to this poll that really spells bad news for Kamala Harris, we have a couple of reactions to go through, and one is from Fox News Sunday, where I think they do a great job of laying out the truth about the debate between former President Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris. Watch.
Well, we know how much is at stake. The New York Times today has brand new polling saying this. The national poll of likely voters found Mr. Trump leading Ms. Harris 48 to 47%. The new poll underscores the risks and potential rewards, particularly facing Ms. Harris on Tuesday night when she and Trump face off. I mean, Guy, it couldn't be any closer.
Tight race. Trump now slightly back in the lead. So that big bounce she got in the New York Times poll from the month-long euphoria fueled by the media seems to have dissipated significantly. And Shannon, I think the most significant data point within that poll is a question about, Jim Messina was just talking about the future, the change question. A vast majority of Americans in this poll say they want change. And in this survey, a majority see Donald Trump as an agent of change and a majority see her as more of the same. That should be Trump's overarching hammered point on Tuesday night.
Nothing more frustrating to the Democrats than the fact that they feel that Biden and Harris do not get the credit they really deserve on the economy we have. We see a little bit of brightening of views, but the fact is in the New York Times Sienna Poll and in the USA Today Suffolk Poll, Trump continues to be preferred when it comes to handling the economy. The change question is important. The who do you trust more to handle the economy? That is a crucial, basic question, too.
Prices are up 20% under Biden and Harris. That's why the frustration is there, because the frustration is deserved. Prices are up 20%. People feel that.
Okay, so two main points here that Trump needs to focus on in the debate, and they pointed out very well. Number one is definitely the economy, because there's nothing she could really say in regards to that. Now, what I believe she probably will say is what these Democrats have been saying, which is, well, wait a minute. We actually fixed the economy. Inflation is at an all-time low. We've added more jobs. That's gaslighting Americans, because the reality on the ground is no one feels that way. And there is a poll, like I stated, that backs that up. So the first thing is the economy. Now, the second thing is immigration. There's nothing to debate on that either, because at the end of the day, she could try to blame him because the border bill wasn't passed. Remember, that border bill was put forth this year, not last year and not the year before that. This year, the year of the election. Okay. What have you guys been doing over the last 2 to 3 years? What about when you guys first came into office? You guys rolled back every single executive order that Trump had in regards to immigration. So if he presses her on that, obviously, that will be good. Now, we have to understand something. This debate is not going to be them going back and forth with each other as much, because the mics are muted and they're not allowed to ask each other questions. So they have to basically answer the questions from the moderator. So we'll see how effective that really is. Now, let's dive into the New York Times Sienna Poll that really shows bad news for Kamala Harris. Okay, so one of the most important questions that was in this poll is this. Do you think Kamala, which is funny how they, spell out the way you're supposed to pronounce it, I guess, whatever, Harris represents change or more of the same? And is that a major change or a minor change? And so when you see major change, she only comes in at 25%. Okay, that's a problem already. Minor change, she only comes in at 15%. Now, here's the big eye opener. Or does she represent more of the same? 56% of people who responded to the poll said that she represents Joe Biden. That's really what they're saying. More of what's happened over the last 3.5 years. So on that front, Donald Trump and the Republicans have been winning that conversation. So that is good news. Now, let's check this out. Do you think Donald Trump represents change or more of the same? It's the same question, but just replacing Kamala Harris with Donald Trump. And look at where he comes in. Major change, 51%. So Donald Trump represents 51% of major change. Now, if you combine that with minor change, you could say 61% of people believe that Donald Trump represents change, minor and major, because only 35% say more of the same. Now, I don't know what those 35%, I think what they're saying is it's just going to be the same old politics, right? Now, here's another question that I believe is very interesting. I want you guys to pay attention to this. And you know what? Put your answer to this question in the comment section below. What is the one issue that you believe is most important to you? Comment that below this video. I want to read what your guys' answers are. Now, what one issue is most important in deciding your vote this November? 21% of people say the economy. We know that, right? Then second is abortion. Okay. Then third is immigration, and fourth is inflation, cost of living. Now, understand this. Let's go ahead and separate these based on the candidates. So Trump wins the economy. He's at 21%. Kamala wins abortion. She's at 14. So he's up 21. She's at 14. He wins on immigration. Add that 12 to 21. You're at 33%. Okay. Inflation, he wins on that as well. So now we're at 40%. To her 14%. The state of democracy, let's go ahead and let her have that. Trump wins on policy. That's just the bottom line. The only thing he's going to lose on is abortion. And so the question is, will this election be decided on abortion, or will it be decided on the economy and immigration? My money is on the economy and immigration, because no matter what side you're on, you feel that. Not everybody feels abortion. That's just the reality of it. Again, this is Donald Trump's election to lose. He wins on almost every single issue except abortion and democracy. And I also believe if he just duplicates what he did at the Joe Biden debate, he wins the debate. I think it says a lot about her campaign that they are crying about the debate rules. Let's be honest. She wants the notes. She wants the teleprompter. She wants the mics to be on. And my other point about her that I truly believe in, and I want to be wrong. And so there's a video going around right now that is showing what she is doing days before the debate. Watch.
Trump wants to jail election workers, Madam Vice President. Do you have a reaction?
Madam Vice President, how will you handle it on the debate stage if Trump decides to launch a personal attack?
Are you ready, Madam Vice President?
Oh, yeah, she's ready. She is as ready as she can be. This is going to be the biggest debate of her life. I'm not too sure she's going to respond very well. Now, if I was in charge of her campaign, I'd definitely be looking to give her some type of medication. Now, that might sound rude, but listen, I mean, she doesn't strike me as a person who really wants to be doing this. That's just my personal opinion.
President,
Are you ready to face Donald Trump?
Yes, I am. Yes.
Best part of debate prep for you? What's your favorite?
Being at the spice store, I finally got all of the debate prep to look at these spices. Best part of debate prep so far.
So, quick announcement for you. I will be streaming the debate live on my channel, so make sure you turn on your notifications and you look out for that. And the only thing I'm praying for when this debate happens is that the country becomes very clear on why Kamala Harris should not be the next president of the United States. And that's my mindset. What do you guys think about the new poll that dropped that favors Trump? What do you guys think about her campaign panicking before the debate, crying about these rules, and the mics are muted? Put your answers and more in the comment section below. Thank you for checking out the video today. Stay grateful, stay focused, and stay true. Peace.